Good evening, morning. It's probably morning in most places, but I was we're on the last mantra. I'm kind of compared to when the book first came out and to now my life is like really different. And like I feel like it's a very sacred moment for it to be the last, mantra. And it's so sacred that I got a frankincense and myrrh candle burning right now. My room is with a purple pinkish hue. It's a completely different setup from when I first began. Like, I was even behind gray curtains, like which I think was so symbolic, in my opinion, or insight. Wow, the last mantra. I'm like tripping. Right? So I'll show you guys the sigil for the last mantra. To the creator of all universes, within me and around me, holy be your name. Let all ascend as they are in heaven. Give today unto the ascended. Uplift us from dissension, and thank you from all the times you have before. Whoever's there, say hello in the chat if you want. But yeah. I'm gonna put on my own meditation music. It's not released yet, but you know what? After tomorrow, I might release it to celebrate the completion of the Master Ascension Mantras live broadcast. I don't know if I like that This is the one I like. Oh, it turned pink on here too. Right. The creator of all universes, within me and around me, holy be your name. Let all ascend as they are in heaven. Give today unto the ascendant. Uplift us from dissension, and thank you for all the times you have before. You may repeat after me, or you may close your eyes and listen to the sound of my voice. Goodness, sometimes I have to slow down. To the creator of all universes within me and around me, holy be your name. Let all ascend as they are in heaven. Give today unto the ascendant. Uplift us from dissension. And thank you for all the times you have before. To the creator of all universes within me and around me, holy be your name. Let all ascend as they are in heaven. Give today unto the ascendant. Uplift us from dissension. And thank you for all the times you have before. To the creator of all universes within me and around me, holy be your name. Let all ascend as they are in heaven. Give today unto the ascendant. Uplift us from dissension. And thank you for all the times you have before. I totally wish now I would have put holy be your nature. I just thought, oh, I'm gonna put that in right now. To the creator of all universes within me and around me, holy be your nature. Let all ascend as they are in heaven. Give today unto the ascended. Uplift us from dissension, and thank you for all the times you have before. Close your eyes and imagine. Maybe even put your hand out and imagine a small world in front of you, that small world called Earth, okay? You may repeat after me or close your eyes and take in the energy and project it onto the world. Because there are so many people who need, you know, the name of this mantra is the Ascended Lord's Prayer. So it's basically the Lord's Prayer before the modern day. So we're going to direct this energy, this frequency to the earth. So you may raise your hand. You may imagine that the computer in front of you, the screen in front of you, is a small earth. And I'm imagining a small earth like right here. So we'll project it at the small earth, like right here, okay? So imagine the small earth right here, okay? Here we go. To the creator of all universes, within me and around me, holy be your nature. Let all ascend as they are in heaven. Give today unto the ascendant. Uplift us from dissension, and thank you for all the times you have before. To the creator of all universes within me and around me, holy be your name. Let all ascend as they are in heaven. Give today unto the ascendant. I feel like I look like a dork on Facebook, being distracted. Alright, back to business. I just want to make sure that the people on Facebook can see me doing my hand thing so that they can do the hand thing too. Well, you guys might want to use both hands. In fact, I can do both hands too. So we'll do both hands. Like twin heart meditation, a little bit different, a little bit better. So I guess we'll be chanting. We'll have both our hands out like this, with the small earth in front of us. Continue. To the creator of all universes within me and around me, holy be your name. Let all ascend as they are in heaven. Give today unto the ascendant. Uplift us from dissension, and thank you for all the times you have before. So even listening to this and blessing the earth will still work. So just bless the earth, and I'll do the praying. To the creator of all universes within me and around me, holy be your name. Let all ascend as they are in heaven. Give today unto the ascendant. Uplift us from dissension, and thank you for all the times you have before. To the creator of all universes within me and around me, holy be your name. Let all ascend as they are in heaven. Give today unto the ascendant, and uplift us from dissension, and thank you for all the times you have before. To the creator of all universes within me and around me, holy be your name. Let all ascend as they are in heaven. Give today unto the ascendant. Uplift us from dissension, and thank you for all the times you have before. To the Creator of all universes within me and around me, holy be your name. Let all ascend as they are in heaven. Give today unto the ascended. Uplift us from dissension, and thank you for all the times you have before. And now we're gonna go to A Course in Miracles. And we're still going to bless the earth with that affirmation too. We're going to direct it to the earth. And when we do this, we are literally raising the frequency of the planet and ourselves and those around us. It's really important because those around us need those ascension vibes right now more than ever. So today's A Course in Miracle is I'm entrusted with the gifts of God. All things are given you. God's trust in you is limitless. He knows His Son. He gives without exception and holding back nothing that can contribute to your happiness. And yet, unless your will is one with His gifts are not received. But what would make you think there is another will than His? So I guess I can break that down a little bit. Basically, what makes you the most happiest is God's gift to you. And we all have gifts and talents and abilities. And even our very being is a gift. So when we get one with that, when we, atone or at one with it, our will and His will become the same. When we start living for the highest and greatest good and the most highest and divine outcome, our will and the divine's will, the universes become one. We start operating on the same side because the universe wants what we want, but even better than what we want. So this thing that some people call God, or whatever they want to call it, whatever they pray to, it wants what we want, but more and more divine and more graceful and greater than we can even imagine. Here is the paradox that underlies the making of the world. This world is not the will of God, and so it is not real. Yet those who think it is real must still believe there is another will, and one that leads to the opposite effects of those he wills. Impossible indeed, but every mind that looks upon the world and judges it as certain and trustworthy and true believes in two creators or in one, himself alone, but never in one God. So that's so symbolic. Like science already proves that when we look at something, it changes. And I'm about to do a free pranic healing after this Course in Miracles for us because we just blessed the earth and be, unwise to let that energy we just got charged up go to waste. But what I was going to say, in Pranic healing, when they were first trying to discover the effects of it, I need to get my charger for my phone. When they were first discovering the effects of it, the first couple of results they were getting were nothing, okay? So they were trying to prove the existence of life force energy and the effects it has on the body, and if it was real, because Reiki was a popular thing then. They even offered it in college at one point, and so they weren't getting the results they needed. So they called in like a spiritual person or a mystic or a psychic, and they asked them, "How come we're not getting the results that we need?" And the psychic was like, "Because it's dirty in here. It's filthy. The energy itself is filthy. You will never discover anything in this place." So what they went and did is that they saged the place, and like they did like Reiki or some type of energy thing with it too, or something like that. And then eventually they were able to see the effects of the pranic healing. And then it goes even more deeper than that, okay? So they started they started calling God by different names, and they were detecting it on camera and with technology, equipment, and feeling it with their hands. The amount of energy was always the same and non-discriminating, okay? So it didn't matter what you called upon or what you called it or what you believed in, or even if you didn't believe in it, that limitless amount of energy still showed up and would still heal, whether the person believed in it or not. But the effects were greater the more they believed in it. So that, in the Bible, Jesus talks about that you only get healed as much as your faith. And back then, life must have been, way harder because there was miraculous healings. So people were probably desperate for those healings. But not just that, God was pretty much probably all they had. So they, had all these stories about, divinity and healing. And back then, some creatures and stuff were real. So, like, the impossible was known. And the impossible, was capable, very much capable. But anyways, more studies further before that and further down the line, scientists discover that how you view reality changes it. And reality itself can change when people believe a certain thing is real. Like, for example, the Mandela effect kind of falls within, that category somewhat. Dad call it the Mandela effect, or I used to call it the Mandala effect, believe it or not. Where I come from, the Mandala effect. So that's just another example of how reality changes, depending on how we see it. And that's probably one of the greatest gifts God gave us was the ability to change things when our will and His will becomes one. Because if it's not His will, then it's definitely not our will. And as we know, the ego, it tries to destroy itself, even though, it doesn't really know better or knows that if it destroys itself, then it too dies. So I like to call the collective consciousness of all existence ego, like the anti-God consciousness. In a way, yeah, that's what I like to call it, or think of it. It's like, doesn't really know better. It serves a function and a purpose, like, but it doesn't really know any better. And so, sometimes we operate from that level. We're gonna jump to the next one. The gifts of God are not acceptable to anyone who holds such strange belief. He must believe that to accept God's gifts, however evident they may become, however urgently he may be called to claim them as his own, is to be pressed to treachery against himself. He must deny their presence, contradict the truth, and suffer to preserve the world he made. So we all have this view or this belief system of how the world should be and how our life should be and how the role, we make up this role for ourselves, and then other people make up a role, and then those always clash, and even our role itself that we make up for ourselves, that's totally ego based. That clashes with the universe, and our life becomes a holy mess. That's what I'm gonna call it, a holy mess. And then we kind of live our lives in denial, always contradicting what is true and what is real. But deep down, we know what's real and what's true, like totally. And then we suffer and cling on so hard, to preserve the delusions and illusions we made up for ourselves. And it could be that we're not loved, we're not, sane. It was our fault that bad things happened to us. We're responsible for other people's free will. Those type of delusions. They could be so many different types of delusions. Okay, but really has nothing to do with you at all. Like, those are beliefs, and you gotta change your beliefs. And when you change your beliefs, you change your world. When you change the inside, you change the outside. Here, and we're gonna clean the inside in a minute. Here is the only home he thinks he knows. Here is the only safety he believes that he can find. Without the world he made, he is an outcast, homeless and afraid. He does not realize that it is here he is afraid indeed, and homeless too, an outcast wandering so far from home, so long away. He does not realize he has forgotten where he came from, where he goes, and who he really is. We all get to that point, totally. You know that saying, home is where the heart is? Well, this is why I say our mind is a trash can, okay? Because when we go out of our heart into our head, it's like we leave home and then through our head we stray. We just stray into those delusions and possible, parallel realities that we end up living. Yes, we start thinking of a parallel reality and we dwell on it and then we enter it. See, and it's the same with everyone because everyone's on their own journey, living their own life. So, of course, we would have access to parallel realities. Yet in this, yet in his loneliness, senseless wanderings, God gifts go with them. All unknown to him, he cannot lose them. But he will not look at what is given him. He wanders on, aware of the futility he sees about him everywhere, perceiving how his little lot but dwindles, while he goes ahead to nowhere. Still he wanders on in misery and poverty alone, though God is with him, and a treasure his so great that everything the world contains is valueless before its multitude. He seems a very sorry figure, weary, worn, in threadbare clothing, and with feet that bleed, and a little from the rocky road he walks. No one but has identified with him, for everyone who comes here has pursued the path he follows, and he has felt defeat and hopelessness as he is feeling them. Yet he is really tragic, and when he sees that he is following the way he chose, and need but realize who walks them and opens up his treasures to be free. This is your chosen self, the one you made as a replacement for reality. This is the self you savagely defend against all reason, every evidence, and all the witness, with proof to show this is not you. You heed them not. You go on your appointed way with eyes cast down, lest you might catch a glimpse of truth and be released from self-deception and set free. See, we tend to deceive ourselves and deceive others. And what I mean by deceive others, there's only one truth, and that truth is God. Okay, and in God, there is only peace. And the rest of the self is created from the absence of God, and everything is conscious and everything is God. And when things are not conscious, when things are purposely not conscious and cut off from God, that's like the ego edging God out, or anti-God consciousness. And anything that teaches delusion or a rat race or you're out of time or do this or you will be damned, All that is a deception. And when you go and share it with other people, it's a self-deception. Like it may be a fact that you may have a disease and that the world is diseased, but the truth is that all is God, and God corrects all error. And that if there is error appearing, we cannot give into it because it is already being corrected. And in the future, it's already corrected. And in the heavens, it's already corrected. And in a parallel timeline, all error is corrected. And we have to decide and choose that path, choose that frequency, choose that portal, choose that thought, choose that electrical signal. And then we start to live it. But not only if you truly believe, but you have to actually want it. You have to actually desire that in your life and actually do things that gesture it or somewhat, give life to it. You cower fearfully, lest you should feel Christ's touch upon your shoulder and perceive his gentle hand directing you to look upon your gifts. How could you then proclaim your poverty and exile? He would make you laugh at the perception of yourself. Where is the self-pity then? What becomes of all that tragedy you sought to make for him, whom God intended only joy? Your ancient fear has come upon you now, and justice has caught up with you at last. Christ's hand has touched your shoulder, and you feel that you are not alone. You even think the miserable self you thought was, you may not be your entity. Perhaps God's word is truer than your own. Perhaps his gifts to you are real, and it's who we really are, our gifts, what we do best. For me, it's like the music and the writing, the healing. Like, that's me. And I'm not defined by anything else by that because what brings you joy is is what you are. Perhaps his gifts to you are real. Perhaps he has not wholly been outwitted by your plan to keep his son deep in oblivion and go the way you chose without yourself. Tell you what, if you're watching this, take this as a sign. Your true, higher, limitless self without fear, without doubt. There's a you in the future and a you outside of time. The very spark of who you are. That thing really does not give a fuck about what other people think, what may happen, how it's gonna happen. It's just gonna do it. And that's who you really are. And that's the child of God. God instilled into you all that goodness, that fire. God's will does not oppose, it merely is. It is not God you have imprisoned in your plan to lose yourself. He does not know about a plan so alien to his will, because everything is God's will. Well, in the highest, realms. There was a need he did not understand to which he gave an answer. That is all. And you have this answer given you have need no more of anything but this. Like if you believed in yourself, you would not be asking other people for advice, and you would trust in the decisions you made. And actually right now we do, and some of those decisions are based on the role or the persona or the thing we think will fix everything, but only God knows how to fix it. Now do we live? For now we cannot die. The wish for death is answered, and the sight that looked upon it now has been replaced by vision, which perceives that you are not what you pretend to be. One walks with you, who gently answers all your fears, but the one merciful reply, it is not so. He points to all the gifts you have. Each time the thought of poverty oppresses you, and speaks of his commandments, and you perceive yourself as lonely and afraid. How many times have you guys been like, gotten bad news, and you're like, well, I'm gonna go make some music now. or oh, I'm gonna go do this. Like that's what's meant to, make you wealthy in this world, the thing you love to do the most. But you do not receive that wealth if you do not believe it is of any true value. You have to strive to make it value. I'm not saying charge for all your stuff, but in giving you shall receive. But have stuff that you find is valuable and deserves to be, compensated for. There's nothing wrong with that. That's equivalent exchange, okay? Balance, the law of balance, as above, so below. So what you give is what you get, and what you get, you need to give. The gifts are yours entrusted to care, to give to all who chose the lonely road you have escaped. They do not understand but pursue their wishes. It is you who needs to teach them now. For you have learned of Christ, there is another way for them to walk. Teach them by showing them the happiness that comes to those who feel the touch of Christ and recognize God's gifts. Let sorrow not tempt you to be unfaithful to your trust. Betray it not. Become the living proof of what Christ's touch can offer everyone. God has entrusted all his gifts to you. Be witness in your happiness to how transformed the mind becomes which chooses to accept his gifts and feel the touch of Christ. Such is your mission now, for God entrusts us the giving of his gifts to all who have received them. He has shared his gifts with you now, and now you go to share with the world. So if we truly believed in ourselves and didn't care about how it's going to happen, when it's going to happen, all that stuff, I wonder what would happen. What would we receive? And I'm just curious to it. Because how many times have you guys experienced this, or what you thought about the most happened? Like one time I was young, I ordered this CD. The CD was taking forever. From the get go, I was like, this CD's gonna take forever to get to me. Okay, and it really did. Okay, but then I had to tell myself, no, no, no. I have to think the CD is coming to me tomorrow. Okay, when I go to the store, I come back, the CD is gonna be waiting for me. Like I was telling myself that. In 3 days that happened, okay? I waited 2 weeks. It should not have taken 2 weeks for that CD to get to me. Everyone I know who ordered that CD got it fast, but for me, no, not me. No, with me, because everything's according to, your beliefs, okay? What you fucking believe. Excuse my language, okay? And that's only the first time. There's also some very bad things that have happened that I could have, fought, made my stand. Alright, totally could have made my stand, but because I decided to believe in something else or whatever, or decided to let it go, it all went away, okay? But then it shows up again and again throughout my life, that same lesson, that's what happens, okay? It's within that nature, of the beliefs, also believing what you're receiving. What you want to receive, you have to believe, and you cannot receive if you do not believe. So I'm just gonna leave it at that. And also, like, do not underestimate what you do best at. Okay, whatever you do best at, whatever makes you happy, do not underestimate it. Always trust in it. Because those things are gifts. Those things are precious. Like, and those things are the things that make you you. Okay, the real you. You can try and cover it with anything and everything, but you're probably gonna feel miserable. And I'm talking to the people who, no, I don't want to hate on no 9 to 5, but there's some 9 to 5 jobs that should not be looked at like a 9 to 5 job. Like if you're a police officer, do not treat that shit like a 9 to 5 job. Like you're supposed to make the world civilized and safe. People treat it like a 9 to 5 job, and just they're just really mean. Like there's stuff like that. Like if you looked at your job or whatever, or what you do to make money, if you look at it from a perception of, ah, that's what I came here to do right now, and what I'm doing is, contributing to civilization, or is, my first step, and, eventually I'm going to leave that job, or the job is probably something really important, I don't know what it is. But whatever it is that you're doing, even if it's something you love, like for me, music, and fellow musicians, like look at it as something really important and valuable to life itself and the universe. Like that's what I'm trying to get at because it really is valuable. Like and it really is important because or else it wouldn't feel so shitty not doing those things. And if you were like really old and watching this and this reminds you of the book you never published or, you know, the talent you never really pursued or the thing you loved the most you would have made a career out of or, become wealthy from, like it kind of falls within that category. Like don't wait no longer. And for us young people, just know that it's always really important. If it wasn't important, we wouldn't feel so shitty about it. And the people older than us wouldn't feel so shitty about not doing it too. Anyways, I love you guys. I got to go. Now that we got the mantras out of the way, I may be doing some random broadcasts with the Course in Miracles. Oh, and I forgot the energy healing. We're going to do the energy healing too. I will be using my wand here, and I'm going to do 200 clockwise sweeps and then 200 counterclockwise sweeps. Okay, no, 50 clockwise sweeps to charge, to make the bad energy break down better. And then, like probably 100 counterclockwise and then 100 clockwise to fill up the space. Yeah. This healing is going to be specifically for blockages and obstacles, allowing us to move smoothly through the next Mercury retrograde or any unexpected happenings or just really off the wall randomness that we will synchronize and clean in our awareness. Okay. Put some God energy on that shit. And then now we're gonna break it down, okay? We're gonna transmute it, feed it for everyone who's watching. Now that we cleaned, area within the vortex or the matrix, now we're going to fill it up. With ease, okay, easeful synchronicity, divine intervention, forward vibes, ascension vibes, new earth vibes, a solution for every problem. Good deep breath. Cut your front cords, cut your back cords, back to front spleen, back spleen. You should be well off for the rest of the day. Love you guys. Um, if you would like a private session, like by Zoom or phone call, I do offer energy treatments that way. If you want to work deeper, if you like the effects, at the end of this video, I will be doing more of these, public healings for, yeah, live healings. Also, I will be going live soon with tarot cards also, so you guys know. And don't forget to press the subscribe button, the like button, and share, share this. Someone may need the message, you never know. Be safe, wear a mask, wash your hands, social distance, second wave coming, don't chance it. That's like jumping off a cliff and expecting God to catch you. Don't play with, don't play with such things. Anyways, love you guys, take care.